First wage was, I think, £5.99 or something like that.
A week or
Yeah, that was good at the time. Raiding people mango tree, plum tree, things like that. We used to go in the Patterson Hill in Belvedere Cross and fly kite. Or used to go by cousin Egbert Philip, top of Belvedere, and fly kites.
So what's your name?
My name is Henry Cudjoe.
And where were you born?
I was born in Carriacou, Grenada,
Whereabouts in Carriacou?
in Bel Air Hospital.
How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
72.
So who were your parents and grandparents?
My mother was Iris Cudjoe. Grandmother was Rosie. Grandfather was Stevenson on my mother's side. On my father's side, my father was Oakland. My grandmother's was Rebecca. Grandfather was Adam.
So tell me about Carriacou, growing up in Carriacou. What was life like in Carriacou when you were younger?
Life was good. Can't really complain. We used to do a lot of mischievous things, which is that's childhood growing up. So
Like what?
like raiding people mango tree, plum tree, things like that.
Oh, so where did you go to school? Tell me about your school life.
Oh, I went to Dover Model School. School life was, I wouldn't say I was brilliant, but it was good. It was good.
What kind of subjects were you interested in?
Maths, I never did like spelling or reading. I like maths. Mm.
Do you have a lot of good school friends? Were you quite popular?
Yes, I've got a lot of good school friends. I've got Errol Hamlet, Merrill Prime, Reinald Cox, Frederick MacLeod. He passed away now. And quite a few more. I can't even remember all of them.
So what did you get up to with your friends at school then? What stories can you tell me about anything you got up to?
Hmm.
Mischievous things.
Well, we used to do a lot of things like, I wouldn't say thieving, I would say raiding people mango tree, doing mischievous things, going in the fishing, going in mangrove, going. Mm,
What kind of fishing did you use? What kind of fishing
well,
did you
some
do?
in the mangrove. Sometimes you use like a twine within our own nylon and put a hook on it. I used to run away and go in the on the tongue jetty and do little jacks. I used to go in Anzorus, that's behind Bogles, go fishing on the rocks, me and my brother Ashford. On one time, I remember leaving home the night before, went hunting, and then from there we went fishing. So I caught a big fish, a goose. They call them old wife.
A bus
Yeah,
or
it's a
old wife?
yeah, we call it old wife. It's a so came back about morning. I can't remember what time, but the sun was shining bright. Maybe about 7 o'clock in the morning. From leaving home about 6 o'clock in following day. So coming down, I met my auntie. She was going to the shop. She asked me for where I've been. I told her, "You catch anything?" Yes, I told her catch. So she did it, took it, she cooked it, make it. Then she beat me for not looking after the animals. Then when my uncle come from school, I got the next licking for the same thing. What I should have be home early to look after the animals and thing, but I didn't look after them, so that was one of the thing because I ran away from home. I didn't ask any permission. We just went away and came back in the morning. So that's one of my mischievous thing I did. I can't remember all of them, but
So did you do any like flying kites? Because I remember my dad
yes,
was telling me
yes,
that.
yes. We used to make kites and fly. We had to go. We used to go in the Patterson Hill in Belvedere Cross and fly kite. Or used to go by cousin Egbert Philip, top of Belvedere
Mhm.
and fly kites. It was good fun
So
flying kites.
where did you get the kites from? Did you make
Now
it?
we make our own kites.
Really?
We make our own kites
What out of what?
out of bamboo or flex. Flex is like a coconut tree thing. You shape your wood and you make your own kites
My dad told me a story of the kites. He said that he made a big one and someone was
in the
sitting on it and
nose.
it flew. Is that real?
Yes,
Is
yes,
that real?
that was real over there.
Tell me what happened.
Well, he made a big kite with bamboo, split a bamboo in half, and he papered it with cement paper. I think he had a rope on it. So he put my brother in the nose of the kite, and then we all holding tight. So the kite went up and he just come down back. Luckily, Ashford wasn't injured. And I remember your dad always remind me about that. He's the first man to send somebody up in space.
Oh, I thought he was always joking about that,
Nah,
maybe exaggerating.
nah, it's true. It's true.
Really? Wow.
Mm.
Funny, funny, funny. Wow. So, with so, did you go to Carnival in Carriacou when you were young?
Yes, I went to Carnival. I used to play Old Mass. Well, Old Mass was, well, Camberley nights first on a Sunday night. We used to go and cook in the bushes, pinch people things from the garden, they put it to the peas, whatever you could pinch at home, and we get together and we make cook Campbell. That's the Sunday night. And the Monday is Old Mass, where you dress up or you make a mass and you go and play Old Mass. But I can't remember how old I was, but I remember one time I was playing Old Mass, and there were two guys playing Old Mass from they were from Berlo coming up Belvedere, Belgium. It was Jim and Charlo. They used to play the devil and thing. So I was playing Old Mass and I saw them. When I saw them, I run. I was scared of them because they were so frightened.
What did
So
they look like?
they just paint up themselves in tar and oil and thing, and just with a chain, with a horn on the head, and they
Mm.
dress up with old clothes and thing, and they were just looking like the devil. I don't know how the devil looked, but it's calling the devil.
Were they chasing after you?
No, no, they wasn't chasing after me. When I see them, I was scared of them, although I was playing Old Mass, but I was still scared of them.
And how old were you then?
Maybe about 8. I can't remember. I
Yeah,
wasn't that big. I
young.
was young.
Can you tell me a bit about Old Mass, about what it is, what happens?
Well, Old Mass, I don't know, I think I'm not sure if it's an African thing, but Old Mass you play, you dress up with your Old Mass and you go around the village. There's me Ailey job job, I want a penny job job, to pay me passage job job, to go to Grenada job job, something like that. Yeah, and that was just the fun of it.
So it's like an African tradition.
I think
Mm.
it was, yeah.
Mm.
And
So,
the Tuesday is where they do the Shakespeare Mass.
oh,
Rehearsing Shakespeare. I can't do it. I never do it. And I remember one Tuesday morning, carnival time, I had to look after the animals. So I did look after the animals and then feed them and then rest them. And then I came home to go to carnival in town. That's happening in the town center.
mm,
So I went home. I just happened to peep in my uncle's room and I saw some money on the dressing table. So I decided to go and help myself. So I pinch $1, 4.25 cents. So I put 25 cents in each pocket. So when I just coming out, he called me to give me some money. So he realized the money was missing. So he asked me if I take any money. I said, no, no, I ain't taking no money. But did knowing him, probably done it before. So he look in my full pocket and he take the money. And he give me back the money and tell me to, all right, go. So from the house to the main road is about 50 yards.
mm.
So I took my money, $1 going downtown, take me time. And just before I get to the main road, he called me back. And he took all the money and told me to go to town. That time I went to town with no money and I never pinched from him again.
So you got up to some like proper. Well, you're quite naughty, weren't you?
Yeah, I got up to some. I can't remember everything. Is the person? who remind me is Reynald Cox, a good friend of mine, Pringy. He reminds me about things we used to get up to, but I can't remember all of them.
So, did you experience a hurricane?
Not really. I think one time we were setting up for a hurricane. I think it's no Hurricane Nora or something like that. But
Nora.
Nora.
Mm.
But I didn't really experience a hurricane. No, I didn't.
What year was Nora?
I don't know. Maybe in the early 60s? I'm not sure.
Mm.
Mm.
So, did you have to? You said you had to like work the land. Is that right?
Yes.
When did you have to do that? What age were you doing that?
Okay, well, young, maybe 9, 10 or something. I used to have my own kitchen garden.
Oh, what did you have in there?
Corn, melon, tomatoes, and things like that. But I couldn't pick them. I got to wait for my auntie to tell me when to pick it. You know, you do your own things, but at your age, they in control.
Mm. So, food-wise, what are your earliest food memories? What did you love to eat?
Food wise, pigeon pea soup with pigtail and corn pork, rice and peas with the stewed chicken, stuff like that. I used to like cook one okra, but that was a common food, cook one okra.
Mhm.
Things like that I used to like.
Mm. So, who taught you how to cook?
I taught myself actually by looking at seeing people cook and look and try and experience myself. Experience. The first cook I ever made in Carriacou was me and a guy called Noel from Dover. So we had a cook in or pasture in Dry Hill.
Mm.
So I bring flour, he bring whatever we bring, and none of us could have need flour. So I was supposed to knead the flour. Knead the flour, put too much water in it, so it just sticking. So you end up all right. We couldn't roll the dumpling, just pitched up. Yeah. So that was my first experience of cooking. Mm.
Mm. Okay. So, at what age did you? What are the circumstances of you leaving Carriacou? Why did you leave Carriacou, and what age did you leave to come to
Well, I
England?
had no choice. I remember I was walking across by a place called Dry Hill, where the family cemetery is, me and my uncle. And I remember he told me my mom is send for me. And that's all I could remember. I can't remember what happened after that. So at age, I think it's about 13, somewhere around the time I left Carriacou. In 1967, I think I left Carriacou May. I think on the big end of May, because I got to England on the 2nd of June, 1967.
So, how did you get from Carriacou to England? Tell me about the journey.
I can't remember the journey, but I know we went down by boat. I think the boat was Starlight to Grenada. Then we stopped in a guest house in Grenada. I came with a gentleman called Leo Collins. He's the one that was charged of me coming up to England. So we stopped in the guest house in Grenada, and the following day, I think we went, the boat was waiting for us, a boat called Caribbean. Caribbean. It was big, I don't know if a banana boat or what, but anyway, it took passengers, and I think it took bananas as well.
Mhm.
And from Grenada, we went to the boat with a small boat because they didn't have the boat, the big, for the boat to come in.
And then that ship, you sailed to England.
Yeah.
What ship was that? Do you remember the name of the ship?
The name of the
Ship.
Caribbean.
Oh, that was
Yeah,
Caribbean.
that
Sorry,
Caribbean, name of
sorry.
the ship Caribbean, yeah.
So, what was the journey like on
The
the
journey
Caribbean?
was good because on the age I couldn't go to dance, I couldn't go nowhere. But it was a nice pleasurable journey. We went to about 12 different islands, I think.
Mm.
I remember some of them, I don't remember all.
So, did you make friends with anyone on the boat on the ship, or?
Yeah, and we make friends here because I met with me early, a guy called Early, a guy called Leroy Sylvester, Errol Moses, and Uncle Leo. We call him Leo Sylvester. Leo, I am calling, sorry. And a girl called Miss Lynn Montrose. We was all in a group together.
Mhm.
So it was a good journey coming up.
And where did you arrive in England?
I arrived in Southampton.
Mm.
They put in Southampton.
What, and it was June,
Yeah, it was June 2nd I arrived in England,
so it was quite warm.
1967. Well, to
Well,
me, it was cold still. And then
who came to meet you?
a guy called Ivan Matheson, he picked us up from Southampton to Huddersfield.
Oh, okay.
It was a nice journey up, driving up. I could remember it wasn't summery, although it was summertime, but it was a bit foggy and thing coming up.
Mm.
It was a good journey up.
So it was just A road straight up.
Yeah, it was the area. I think it was the A1, I think,
Mm.
come up. I think the M1 was built as yet. It was the A1, I think.
And what did you think about your surroundings, like the scenery and
It was just grey and miserable. You know,
did
no
you want to
sunshine.
did you want to go home? Did you
No,
miss?
I didn't think about going home. I didn't. I just came here because my big sister was up here at the same time. Yeah, and I came into Lockwood, Moen Road. I remember when I entered the house, I saw my big sister, I think my mother, sitting in front of fire. First time I came and I saw fire inside the house, I was a bit, surprised like that. Okay, West Indies, you don't. Fire is outside, not inside the house. But that's one way of keeping warm.
So what did you do when you saw them? How did you feel when you saw them?
I'm not exactly remember, I'm not exactly remember. But it was nice. It was all right. It was good.
Do you remember
I
what you?
can't even remember hugging or thinging. I can't remember, but I could remember, yeah, going in and seeing them there.
How
Even
did?
when my big sister left home, I can't remember when she left home. But yeah,
And what do you remember the first meal you had when you got here?
no, I can't remember. I can't remember.
Mm. So did you enroll straight into school? What was the situation?
Yeah, when I came, the first thing I could remember, my mother went to town with my mother and she bought me a coat from a shop in Huddersfield called, I think it's Henry's.
Oh.
Henry's. I remember because that's my name.
Mm.
She brought me a coat. Then she used to knit things. She knit me cardigan and thing. So I was good. When I went to school for the first time, well, I didn't know my way around. So one of the person who brought Uncle Leo's son took me to school, which he got Clarence Collins. He took me to school.
Mm.
Then when I went to school, I can't remember if it was the first day or the second day. Some guys was there and after school they come and ask me if I want to fight. So I said, well, people don't ask you if you want to fight. You fight. So anyway, when school finished, we come out, going home. We all live on the same area. So they surround me. So I had a little penknife in my pocket, so I took out, and nobody would face me and thing. So one guy walked around me, and I feel he kicked me. But that time I was hesitate to go. I think all them might to the anyway. Get away, went home. So the evening, I went up outside playing, and the same guy that kicked me, I saw him. So I fixed him up.
You picked him up.
I fixed him up, and then we become good friends after that.
Really?
Yeah,
So you needed to fix him up
yeah,
to get it out of the system.
yeah. Respect. We become good friends. Mm.
So did you enjoy school?
Yes, I would say. Mm, yes, I would say yes.
Why are you hesitating? What was it about school you didn't like?
Because probably I should have learned more. I interested in sports more than anything else.
Mm.
Mm. More than doing my homework or thing. I'm more interested in sports.
Right,
Mm.
right,
Mm.
right. And so, what was your first proper job then?
My first proper job was working in a mill,
Mm.
stacking bobbins for, is it a spindling company or something like that?
Mm.
I would just send out my wage. First wage was, I think, it was £5.99 or something like that.
A week or
Yeah, that was good at the time.
was that good?
Well, the money used to go far away.
How did you spend that money?
Well, my mother spent it. And then when I left there, I started off doing in a factory doing weaving, making clothes and things.
Mhm,
That was good for a while. The wage was a bit better.
mhm,
Then from there, I went to a place like we call it rough joiner, where they're making packing cases and things. Timber work. I went there and I started off driving.
mm,
I started off driving a back box van, delivering stuff.
mm,
And then from there, I started off driving a small wagon. And then the company decided to get a bigger wagon. So they sent me for my HGV test, driving test. So I went to pass my test and I started driving wagons from then on,
mm,
going up and down the country, England, Scotland, Wales, all over the place.
mm.
And I quite enjoyed that.
Right.
And then when I left that job, I started driving, get a job with the council.
Mm.
And I was driving the access bus.
What's that?
Access bus is taking people that not can't manage the ordinary bus,
Mm,
like wheelchairs and people with disability, taking them to friends, shopping, bingo, wherever they want to go.
mm.
We take them, pick them up, and take them for free.
Okay. So going back to the mills, what was life like working in the mills back in those days?
Well, it wasn't that bad, to be honest with you. So most time, I got a lot of my friends and them used to work in the mill and before they move on. That was the easiest. Yeah, job was easy. You could leave a job today and get one tomorrow
Hmm.
in the mill. So
So there's always vacancies back
yeah, there
then,
was at that time. There was
shortage.
there was shortage textile.
So what
Uh,
were the local English people doing at that point?
tell the truth, I don't know. No? Some of them used to be there as well.
Mm.
They used to be there, but the majority of them, I don't know.
After
Yeah,
the war, there's obviously a shortage. They
yeah, there
needed
was
workers.
because a lot of black people come from who used to do conducting, doing nursing. Yeah.
How were you received as a black person back then in work and
Well, I never had any problem. I remember one time, me and a friend of mine called John Jerome, we were standing on the bottom of Long Hill Road and we were just talking and laughing. And this police came down and asked us, why we laughing? Get home. Go home. Well, we didn't, nothing come out of it.
mm,
That's it. That was one of the first time I've been treated like
mm,
I don't belong here. And I remember one time I joined the part-time army, the territorial army.
oh,
I was there and we were in our uniform was myself, Chester Koshi, Kelvin Jaffe, sitting in the car, just talking. And this policeman again come and knock. Says, you're not fit to be in your uniform. So we turn around and say, are you fit to be in yours?
oh,
And nothing become of it. That was it, yeah.
wow.
So that's the, yeah,
Mm.
what we had.
So did you have so there were a lot of people coming from Carriacou to Huddersfield at that time.
Yes, I came, when I knew I was coming to England, I knew I was coming, a friend of mine was coming to England. So I said to him, I'm coming to England. When I come to England, we're going to meet up.
Mm.
And knowing he was coming straight to Huddersfield, Lockwood, and I was coming Huddersfield, Lockwood. It could have been in London, it could be somewhere else. And we met up and it was good. And then the following couple months, a friend of mine, Errol Hamlet, he was coming up. So I
Mm.
remember every Sunday I keep going by his mother and asking him, has he arrived yet? Has he arrived yet? Looking forward to meeting him.
Mhm.
That was good fun.
Right. So going back to the house that you first went to in England, with Grandma
Mm.
and Mum. So what was the house like? Describe it.
The house was, I think, a three-storage house.
Mm.
Yeah, three-story, get a basement in the kitchen. There was no outside toilet. So and there's fireplace. My job was to light the fire, clean out the coal, light the coal fire at that time, and paraffin heater.
Mhm.
So it was, yeah, you were back in the days. It was them sort of houses most times. Central heating was nowhere in sight them time, but it was comfortable.
Mm.
It was comfortable.
So what did you feel like when it snowed for the first time?
When it snowed for the first time, I remember playing rugby in school, and we playing rugby in the snow, and my hands was numb, freezing. So I think the best way to get my hands back, because now I should put it in warm water, hot water. That was the worst mistake I ever made. So I never done that since.
Wow, interesting. So can you tell us about so tell us can you do you know any sort of folk stories? Were you told any folk stories when you were younger by anybody, or did you hear of any stories about?
I remember when they used to tell folk stories. I mean, somebody dead used to go sit down around the house, and they used to tell a lot of stories and things. Like Mr. Hamlet, Egypt, he used to tell a lot of Nancy stories, and when you finish, you're free to go home. It just struck me. It was nice, good, nice story. I can't remember the stories, but I remember listening, telling story, Brenancio, and all sorts of stories they used to tell.
And did everyone believe those stories back then?
I don't think it's just Nancy's story. I don't think they believe. I don't know. They just Nancy's story. I didn't. Well, I didn't even know if I believe it. I just listened to it, and yeah.
Mm.
So I can't say I believe it, and I can't say I did not. Well, I didn't think I believe it because the story they tell is a ridiculous story.
Like what? What's the
like
most ridiculous thing
like
you've heard?
jobless and these people and flying and witch flying and all kind of things. You know,
Oh, funny. Excellent. So did you ever experience anything yourself, or you didn't experience anything?
I don't know if someone was trying to frighten us. One time we went to a meeting. You used to call it, I think it's Felix and the Silver. He used to come and have meeting and thing in my Uncle James' house by the cross. And I remember one night, Felix, I think, went to drop somebody in Dover.
Mm.
And then we was walking up your pitch deck. So we find you were taking long to come up. So I can't remember who told us, but someone tell me and a guy called Kelvin Bob to go back and find us. So we was going down walking across your pitch deck, and we just heard something in front of us just scratch on the ground. I don't know if it's a broom or what. And we just turn back and we take off. I never heard anything since. I think somebody when we're just trying to frighten us. I don't believe in zombie and thing. I think people just trying to frighten people.
Mm.
Mm.
Good. Wow. So what were you not allowed to do when you were younger?
Go to the sea.
Yeah.
Like I used to run me to go to the sea, and then I know if when I come back, if I ain't look after the animals, is licks. So when I go to the sea, come back, when you're going to see water and your skin dry, salt.
Mm.
So I used to try and wash out all the salt before I come in, but they still used to find out.
Oh wow. So can you remember when you first went back to Carriacou after leaving?
Mm.
When was that?
I went back in Carriacou, I think it was July 88th, or the first time after about 20 odd years.
Mm.
When I went back, we stopped in Grenada overnight, and I couldn't wait to get up in Carriacou. When I get up in Carriacou, did I went by plane? I can't remember if I went by plane or by boat. Well, anyway, when I get in Carriacou, and everything just looks small, small. I say, I couldn't believe how much of us used to live in the house and thing like that. Eventually, things start to expand. It was a nice experience, nice.
Mm.
And then I came off by my Auntie Julia after I hadn't seen her for about 20 odd years.
How did that feel?
She knew I was coming, but
Mm,
probably she didn't know when.
mm.
So when she saw me, I remember she signed in herself.
Oh
You
gosh.
know. And
Was she expecting retribution or something?
well, I don't know. And I could remember she signed in herself.
Right.
And I think she was glad to see me.
Mm,
'Cause when I left, I was a child. When I went back, I was a man.
mm, mm.
And then my uncle, the one who used to beat me a lot. But we was all right. I had good times with him. Don't get me wrong. I had good times with him. I could remember when I was coming back to England, he gave me a shopping list, what he want. But that didn't happen.
Uh-huh. So, what was the first meal you ate when you got back to Carriacou? Remember?
No, I can't remember the first time.
Mm,
I remember the time I went after that.
mm.
I stayed in Grenada by a cousin of mine called Cousin Mary, and she cooked crab and callaloo. That was wicked. Oh, good.
Mm.
Yeah.
And where did you stay when you first went back to Carriacou? Where did you stay?
I stayed in Cherry Hill. My auntie already left the family home, and I think she did marry, and she went to stay in Cherry Hill. That's
Mm-hmm.
going down Boggles.
Mm-hmm.
So I stayed there.
Right.
Myself, my auntie, and Charles and Samuel, two cousins. I grew up with in Belvedere, in Belgium.
Mm.
We stayed there.
Did you ever think you would go back to live there permanently? Was that ever a thought when you came over? I know you're young, but
No, I didn't. That wasn't. No, I didn't think. Everybody was up here, really. My sisters, my brothers, everybody was up here.
mm,
My mother, father, everybody was up here. So I didn't think, yes, going home to visit, but to stay permanent, it wasn't. I wasn't ready for that.
mhm, mhm. So why didn't Grandma Iris go to the States instead of the UK? Was there a choice for her to go to either one?
I don't know. I think her brothers and them was up here. Was in England.
Mm,
I don't think she had anybody in the States at the time because three brothers was up here, I think, at the
mhm,
time. So I don't know if it's her brother sent for her or what, but she came to England.
right. And there was no chance of you. Did you want to go over to the States or did
No.
you? No, you were happy.
I settled in Huddersfield and I didn't even want to go to Birmingham or go to London. No, I just want to stay in Huddersfield.
Yeah, enjoyed it.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm. So, what would you want someone visiting Carriacou to experience? The stranger didn't know anything about Carriacou.
Carriacou is just for relax. No stress. If you go in Carriacou, don't look for nightclubs or thing. Just go to relax. Yeah.
Mm,
I know the food restaurant could improve a lot, but it's a nice, friendly place. People are friendly and thing, and just relax.
mhm. So, what should people come and see for themselves?
The culture, the big drum, the Shakespeare Mass, although that seems as though it's dying out now,
Mhm.
and the way people live there.
So, have you brought over? Did you bring over that culture to Huddersfield? The carnival. Tell me a bit about that.
Yeah, yeah. We used to have Huddersfield Carnival. I don't think we have that anymore, and it's like a Caribbean carnival, Trinidad style Caribbean carnival. I was involved in the carnival in Huddersfield. I've been the chair Huddersfield Carnival for about more or less 7 years. And we used every second Saturday in July, we used to have a Huddersfield Carnival, which you were pretty good. So
How did you
that's it.
become to be the chairman?
Well, I used to play cricket on a Saturday, and the carnival usually be on a Saturday. So every time I play in cricket, I always think about the carnival. carnival. So when I finished play cricket, I decided to join the committee. So been joining the committee, then I've been voted the vice chair under a lady called Miss St. Louis. She was the chair at the time. And then I've been voted the chair. And we had a good group of us used to work together, pretty good.
Mhm.
And then after about 7 years, you sort of died down. Changes. Then I became vice chair, and a girl called Fatina, what's her last name again? Fatina Fortune, I think. She became chair, and I became the vice chair. And we up to now we work good together. But I'm not involved in the carnival anymore.
Mhm.
So I had enough. I just back off.
Mhm.
But it was a good experience. Carnival.
Did you do any Shakespeare mass then?
No, no, never.
No.
And they never done it in England. It's only in Carriacou. It's only in Carriacou I think they do the Shakespeare match.
Why don't they do it in England?
Mm, I don't know. They just never. I never known them doing it in England. As far as I know, Carriacou is the only island in the Caribbean do the Shakespeare mass.
Mhm. So, and you didn't do Shakespeare mass when you were young?
No, 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 no. My uncle did it. My dad did it, but I was too young to do it at that time anyway.
Were you involved in any other organisations in Huddersfield?
Yes, I was involved in the restaurant business, but five of us guy used to be in the pub every Sunday. We go in the pub and see. Then it was myself, Errol Joseph, Samuel Gay, Anselm Sylvester, and Griffith Gay. So we decided to, well, first we'll say we'll go into the club business, but we couldn't get the right place. Then this restaurant came up. Used to be, um, restaurants came up and we get involved in it. So we started off I was on my own. I wasn't married at the time, so everybody had a partner with them. I was single out. So we start off the restaurant. You're going good. You're going good. The restaurant was Spice Cuisine, Huddersfield, a black restaurant in. I think it was the first black proper restaurant in Huddersfield.
Wow.
We started off good, and as time go on, we just seems to be, we just seems to fade away.
How long were you in business for?
We're in business for about maybe about 4 5 years.
Mm.
Then we went on and two of the other partner take over. They changed the name and they start their own business. But Spice Cuisine it was it was good. I remember the opening; it was packed out.
Really?
And the cook we had was a woman called Juliet Benjamin. Wait, what? Juliet Benjamin. She was the main cook. Amina Gay, Maureen Gay, Sharon. Can't remember her last name. Graceling Joseph, and I think that's it. Five girls. We was all involved in it together.
What was your role in particular?
I used to do a bit of everything actually. Maybe with the starters, I used to do help with the starters or help waiter and take orders and thing and run the bar. Depends on because we used to open. I think it's six days a week. We used to open, so we used to have a rota. So we all do a little bit. We all do a little, but the main cook usually be Juliet, sometimes Mina, sometimes Maureen. Let me see, three main cook I would say.
So was it quite easy to like get everyone together to organise yourselves to
Yeah, it
actually
was.
start the restaurant?
Once we started off, you were good,
Mm.
but as they say, when you have too much women,
Wow. Controversial.
it does sort of a gone downhill, and that's what happened.
Right.
Mm.
What kind of clientele came here? What kind of people? Do you have some white English people coming
Yeah, you have
in?
people from all over. People come from Leeds, Bradford, West Indian, and white people. Yeah, the only person, yeah, much Indians coming there, but
Mm.
mostly Caribbean used to come there and English. Yeah, that's good. They used to like the food, but as I say, everything comes to an end.
Mhm. So why is Carriacou special to you? In closing,
Oh, I guess it's because I'm born there. I love Carriacou. I just love going to Carriacou. And it's so relaxing. You don't have to worry about anything else. It's just nice going. I just enjoy going. Mm.
is there anything I need to ask you that I haven't asked that you'd like to talk about?
Uh, Playing sports in school. When I from school, I used to play rugby and cricket. So when I left school, they sent me to play rugby union as was on the 19 team, but they didn't have an under 19 team league. They had an under 19 union, but I didn't like the union. So I didn't go there. I ended up going out partying and thing. Then I started playing football. We used to have a football team in Huddersfield called Blackstar. So we used to be pretty good. Then I started playing cricket. I used to play cricket on a Saturday. I used to play on a Saturday for the district league and a Sunday evening league, but I couldn't play in both of them. So I had to choose which one to play. That was Blackstar, the cricket team on a Saturday, and the no, sorry, Blackstar is the evening league, and the Saturday is like a district league thing. I used to play for Bradley Mills, so I'd also make a decision because I love cricket. I decided to play on a Saturday. And then played. I played for Bradley Mills. I played for Primrose Hill, and I had a spell with Paddock Cricket Club. And then from there, Inter Caribbean have a team. They call it Inter Caribbean. The reason people used to drive on the buses, they form a team, and they call it International. So I went and I joined International, and I was captain for International. Can't remember how many years. I was captain. A friend of mine was vice captain. I think it was Samuel Gay. On 1 year, International win everything. We unbeaten. I win the batting. Samuel Gay runners up batting. Roy Corian win the bowling. Denver Allott runner up, and Joe Lewis win the stumping. So win everything that year. That was the and then the I think the international, the central, I think it's central. I can't remember the Central League. They wrote there was 100 years anniversary, so they wrote a book, and that year we win everything. So they put, I was in the book, Joe was in the book, Denver, Roy, everybody was had a they could write up in the book. And then I started as I was working. Used to work weekends, so I just give up on the cricket and I start working. When I driving, sometimes you go all the place, you don't come back until late. That's why I more or less give up cricket. But cricket was my number one sport.
Right.
And I remember playing with Michael Holden when Jamaica had a Hurricane Gilbert, and we had a charity match against our league. So that was Inter Caribbean. We joined. There was a team here called Caribbean, and we was international. So we put together. That's why we call Inter Caribbean, and we do the we did a charity match for Jamaica Gilbert, and Michael Holden was one of the guests playing. So when he come, I was captain of the team. So I said to Michael Holden, you captain? He said, no, you captain, man, you captain, man. So I captain. So when he come to bowl, I say, you have to go and take a long run up, because they. So he said, nah, then he went. I remember he went, take a long run up, and the guy was there. Like, but he just bowled it slow. He didn't, he didn't bowl it with his thing, because he was good. Nice guy, nice Michael Olin, nice guy.
Nice.
Mm.
So that was a good way to be in the Carriacou community. Was it, or were there other island people from other islands?
Yeah, because they had we had Barbados, Jamaica, who in the team again? Trinidad. Well, Grenada is us. All of us is a mix. It's a mixture team. And I think he had a white guy playing for us, an English guy was playing for us as well. So it was good fun. Mm.
Interesting. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your stories.
Mm. Well, be a lot of editing.
No way. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Thanks.